This is my presentation on why video games help PTSD victims. Society would contribute PTSD to wartime, but we all know there are other forms of PTSD. Anything that causes stress, induced trauma qualifies as contributing to PTSD. As a victim of PTSD, I am an avid gamer. It also can take me out of my real world and put me somewhere else to where I can focus a little bit better on things. Now, there's a history of the early years of gaming. 1952, Richard Fisher, A.S. Douglas created it. OXO, also known as Tic-Tac-Toe. 1958, William Botham created Tennis for Two on a large analog computer. 1962, Steve Russell invented Space War, which was a computer-based space combat video game, which was the first video game that could be played on multiple computer installations. Console Supremacy, 1967, developers of San Diego Association of Roberto Bear invented the Brown Box, which was a prototype video game system that can be played on television. Who sold it to Magnavox, who created the Odyssey? 1972, Atari releases Pong. In 1975, Atari re-releases Pong, but for their home console version. 1977, Atari releases the Atari 2600. 1978 through 1984, releases Space Invaders in 78. 79 was launch of Activision. And then in between those years was the introduction of Pac-Man. Nintendo created Donkey Kong, which introduced the first character Mario, and then Microsoft released its first fight simulator game. 1983, North American video game industry experienced a major crash due to oversaturated game console market, competition from computer gaming, and overhyped low-quality games, such as the gross E.T. Was considered and is the worst game ever created. And it only lasted for 2 years until 1985, when Nintendo Entertainment System came from overseas in Japan to the US. 1989, Sega released its 16-bit Genesis console in North America as a successor to its 1986 Sega Master System, which failed to compete against the Nintendo Entertainment System. With its technological superiority to the NES, clever marketing, and the 1991 release of Sonic the Hedgehog, the Genesis made significant headway against its rival. 1991, Nintendo released its Super Nintendo, launching the first real console war. The early to mid-1990s saw the release of a wealth of popular games, including Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, which is a bunch of blood and gore games. Also about video games, Sega created the Video Game Rating Council in 1993 to provide descriptive labels for every game sold on a Sega home console. The council later gave way to the industry-wide ESRB, which is the majority of the ratings that you find on video games to this day. In the mid-1990s, video games leaped to the big screen with the release of Super Mario Bros. Live-action movie in 1993, followed by Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat over the next 2 years. Numerous movies based on video games have been released since. 2005 and 2006, Microsoft, the Xbox 360, and the PlayStation 3 and the Wii kicked off the modern age of high-definition gaming. The PlayStation 3 was the only system at the time to play Blu-ray discs, but it was successful in its own right. The Wii announced its competition in sales. The motion sensitivity remotes made it more active than ever, helping it appeal to people in nursing homes and stuff like that. Today we have everything from cell phones, consoles, even our TVs can play video games. Everything is so slim and compact, immersive, responsive, and even some games have AI, artificial intelligence. We have so many game developers and system manufacturers that the market is oversaturated. In conclusion, PTSD in video games are a great combination with therapy. They're good crutch and avoidance of your problems in real life, but it's only temporary. Video games do not stop or treat PTSD, but it's a good tool to help with distracting yourself, I guess. That was my presentation. Thank you.